Yes, yeah.
Okay, here we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. My name is Anna Ortiz Aragon, and I'm the CEO and founder of Align with Anna, and this is the Align with Anna podcast. And I'm here with my friend Melina Charis for episode 5, Own Your Magic. Hey, Melina, how are you?
Yay, good. Thanks, Anna, for having me.
Oh, girl, yes, this is wonderful. So Melina and I met through the universe. So we were in,
yes.
That was so soulful, girl. Okay, so we met in Pilar Lesko's Projector Magic online course. And it was amazing because Pilar, she attracted like 50 different projectors to take this course. And all of us were completely blown away. Like the Zoom calls were so massive and the energy was palpable. It was amazing. So you were one of the people in there, and I know that like everyone else in there is also a soulmate that I need to make some one-on-one time with. So yes, Melina, thank you for being here, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, that program was so great. And not only did Pilar attract like 50 or 60 projectors the first round, then she did the second round as well.
Oh my goodness.
So praise her. I don't know. Pilar is extremely magical, and I'm so grateful that I was actually just talking to Lauren, and one of my best friends, and you know her as well from Projector Magic, and we were talking about how it's really the gift that keeps on giving. Signing up for it. And it was amazing to be around so many projectors too. But hi everyone, I'm Melina. So I am an energetic coach and I'm a podcaster. So I have a podcast called Own Your Magic. And I also am a human design reader. So I kind of do a lot of different things. I weave them all together. In human design, I actually am a 1-3 profile. So the 3 is very, I'm experimenting. I'm always doing lots of things. So I'm like, let me try this. Let me try this. Let me try this in my business. It's always kind of moving and changing and shifting. And so it's been a process of embracing that. But I think my biggest passion is really coaching and working both one-on-one and in groups with clients. And the type of work that really lights me up is helping people trust in their own magic, own their magic, right? So that really means that your magic is your gifts. Your magic is your energy, your frequency, how you're vibrating to the world. Really slowing down and getting quiet and tuning into that, because there's so much noise in the world and there's so many what I call false frequencies, right? So, distortions. I know that's a little tease for a program that I'm going to be launching soon. So false frequencies, what I call like distortions, limiting beliefs, intaking other people, and just regurgitating all of that. There's lots of like different frequencies that we can be tuned into, society and what society wants. There's all these false frequencies that we think are ours. And so it's really about slowing down and tuning into your own frequency, right? Your own channel. And then really living life from there. And that's when people talk about, how do I live in alignment? That's what that means, right? It's you've slowed down and you've tuned into your own channel and you're living from there. So that's really what I help. I think if you had to really distill it down, that's what I help clients do. That's what I love doing the most, and everything kind of flows from there.
Totally, girl. Beautiful. I love meeting so many folks like basically on the same journey and like teaching the same things. And it's just so magical because like that's the goal. The goal is alignment, like in whatever way, whatever path you take to get there, like it's all about being in your channel, being your divine sovereign self, and just owning your magic. So so beautiful, girl. So beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So a little earlier, you kind of went into the profiles of human design. Do you want to share a little bit about that? So I'm a 4-1, for example, and you just said you're a 1-3. So can you give us a little background? Like, what are the profiles?
Yeah, the profiles are a part of your human design chart, right? So the human design chart is based on a lot of different things. Partially, though, it's kind of similar to astrology in that it's based on where the planets were at the time of your birth, right? And then that activates certain gates and certain channels for you, which are all those little lines that go that connect to your centers. So your profile is actually your conscious and your unconscious sun numbers, sun gates. And so you have two kind of parts of your design and human design, which is your conscious, so the moment of your birth, and then around 3 months before you were born, which in human design we believe is when your consciousness is born, right? So that's also a part of your chart. So that's where the profile comes from. And there's 1 through 6. And I don't know if I have all of them memorized. I think I might. So there's 1 through 6. The first 3 are more internal numbers. So those are like the bottom levels of the house. And then the 4 through 6 are more external. So others focused. I don't even know if I know all the like names of them off the top of my head. I just know kind of what the themes are, but the one is all about learning, right? So I also have a 1. So research, knowledge, learning, exploration, all of that. 2, I believe, is the hermit.
Yep.
So that one is all about kind of, lots of alone time, internal. It can be really interesting. My husband's a 2-4, and the 4 line is that social.
Yes.
Yeah. How was that experience for you?
Literally, girl, exact same thing. So I'm a 4-1. He's a 2-4. So we met on the social scene. Like, we definitely met through our networks, and we love to host and have parties and bring people together. But he also is a hermit. So it's like, okay, we can equally do that, but he needs to like spend a lot of time alone, even without me and without the children, like just alone time.
Yep.
So interesting. And like 2-4, like you kind of have that like internal conflict a little bit, where it's like, oh, you've got the yin and the yang, like right up in your face.
Yeah. And I think if you have one of the, you have like 1 through 3, and then with a 4 through 6 number, it's a little more like conflict, like you said, because the 1 through 3 is more internal and the 4 through 6 is more external. So for me, for example, I'm a 1-3. They're both internal. So which is very true for me. So that's less of a conflict. So yeah, that is for sure. There's so many different like permutations of it that I find so fascinating.
It is so fascinating. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I listened to a podcast recently. It was called The Projector Life. Do you know about it? It's about like a business projector podcast. And
yeah, I think I was on it with is it Ardelia?
Yes, it is Ardelia.
I was on her podcast.
Yeah. I'm going to reach out to her and be like, girl, I think we should be friends.
Yeah, she's great. She's great. Yeah.
So like recently there was a guy, Daryl, on there, and he talked about like owning your projector magic, like owning your genius, right? And like essentially some of the projector experience is like allowing yourself to be seen. And, thinking back to childhood about like, when are the moments when I wasn't supposed to be seen, when I had to shut down, I had to like put my guidance away and stop, projecting because I didn't know I was a projector yet. Owning your magic. So how has like discovering that you are a projector, just human design in general, like opened up roadblocks for you?
So much. Yeah, I first discovered I was a projector. Actually, I don't remember exactly when, but quite a while ago. My mom is actually kind of in the spiritual space as well. So I remember her telling me a long time ago I was a projector, and kind of basically when she was really getting into human design, like basically kind of telling me what it was about. And I was like, no, I'm ignoring this. I'm not into this. And went about my life. And then as I was kind of going about my life from a very head focused place, right? Like logic, what society tells you to do, going to grad school, getting a job, climbing the ladder, right? All that stuff. It just felt very wrong. Everything inside me was like, this is not aligned with you. So then of course I had no idea what was aligned with me. So that was a period of, you know, just searching and kind of going inward and allowing myself to be in the unknown. And that was when I kind of started feeling into, like, I learned about coaching. I started a blog. So I started kind of sharing my story online, which was beautifully healing and wonderful and terrifying. Learned about coaching, realized I wanted to potentially have my own business and become an entrepreneur, which is never something I had thought I wanted to do at all. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I had no plans of that. Yep. So life just kind of took this crazy turn. And then when I started going more deeply into the entrepreneur, you know, coaching path, everything just felt so right. And that was when I kind of relearned about my human design. And I originally started working with a coach who was a projector. And she really helped me in kind of reconnecting with my design, learning more about it. Then I got like super into it. And as a projector, especially, I think many types can relate to this, but especially projectors, and maybe anyone who's a non-sacral. So you don't, that means you don't have the sacral center defined, and that's projectors, manifestors, and reflectors, because we are the minority, right? We're 40% of the population. So society is run generally by generators and manifesting generators. And for us, it's a little bit harder because, you know, we don't have that consistent access to that sacral center energy. We need to rest more. Burnout is a bit more common for us. And for me, that always made me feel like, why, you know, not that I was lazy, but that, like, why do people have so much more energy than me? Like, I was at a 9-to-5 for a while, and it was really hard because it was very rigid. Like, your butt is in the chair from this time to this time. And I would be like, I cannot do work for that long. Like, I would just be like on Facebook, and I'm like, I really hope they don't. But then I would have all this anxiety because I was not doing the work. And I felt like all my other colleagues were actually doing way more work than I was, but I could not energetically sustain that. So that was another reason that, you know, having my own business really appealed to me. And I absolutely love it and would never trade it for the world at this point. I mean, it's full of challenges, but for a projector, it's beautiful because we get to have way more control over our schedule and our energy. And of course, that requires a lot of discipline and boundaries because even when you're working for yourself, as I'm sure you know, it can get like, oh, wait, why am I working all these hours again? You know, why am I still in this kind of 9-to-5 mindset? It takes a while to unhook from that. But it's learning I was a projector just allowed me to really fully start owning, you know, who I was, how I operated. And it really just validated, I think, that it's okay that I need more rest. You know, it's okay. Like, a lot of these things I felt really guilty about, it just validated and allowed me to kind of accept it more, I think.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel like the deconditioning of, you know, work equals struggle, money equals hardship, you know, like hustle, grind, like that has been so deeply indoctrinated for centuries, you know, like generations. So it's not just today, like all of our ancestors. Like, so I feel you. And it, like, when you learn your projector and you're like, oh, well, I'm only really supposed to be working for like 3 or 4 hours a day. How is it possible? Like, how is the math gonna make sense, right? Right. And then it almost like points you directly at entrepreneurship, and it's like, okay, girl, this is what you got to do, and you have to charge high for your wisdom. Period. Like, that's how you make the numbers work. And yes. Oh, girl, yeah, it's a journey. It's a journey. I love speaking to other business owners, and like, you know, I used to be a former classroom teacher, so I've kind of always, girl, what grade?
I taught 9th through 11th.
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, I was K through 12, so I've done like all the classrooms. I did juvenile.
All grades?
All grades. I've done all grades. Oh, yeah, I did like special ed alternative schools. So it was like, okay, I'm over here. I'm with the little ones. Okay, I'm in middle school. Okay, I'm in high school. And then I went to juvenile. Yeah, but I chose like the toughest of the tough. Like, I was a one-on-one for a while. And like, emotional disturbance is my thing. And it's so wild because I recently had a human design reading I've had like 4, you know, like I'm really into it. I got the one I need to investigate and I want to hear from all these different people.
Yeah.
And it said that I have the gate of like knowing really well how to handle chaos. Like that is one of my gates. And you know, I also have the storyteller gate, like the 13 and the 33, how everyone is always like disclosing their deepest desires and stories with you. And I'm like, man, like I was like born to be a counselor of some sort. And it all makes sense now. And it's like, damn, Anna, you can do it, but you don't need to do the K through 12 curriculum anymore. Like that curriculum is not really teaching us what we need to know. So you're going to work directly with your folks, and energy is 100% going to be a part of it.
Yes, yeah. I resonate with that a lot. It was actually really hard for me switching from education, the kind of education space, not hard, but I was like, wait, this is like so not related, you know, because same as you, I really, you know, there's a lot, I really liked that you could be such a presence in a child's life or a teen's life when they're going through, they're developing so much in that time. Right. And then after I was in the classroom and I was like, I was the classroom teacher. So I was teaching, you know, 6 classes a day of 9th, 10th, 11th grade. And I was exhausted. I was like, I'm an introvert. Why did I think that was a good idea? I'm like you're standing all day. That's true leadership right there. That I just give it up to all teachers. It's not easy. It's so hard. And there's so much extra work. And it was just not for me. And I quickly discovered that. So then I moved into education, but I was working at the college level. So I was like working with college students. And that was also, you know, for me and for a lot of people, college is a really big developmental time as well, where you're exploring and growing. So I think when I kind of realized, oh yeah, coaching is very similar to that. It's just, it makes more sense for my energy, exactly like you were saying, because I can charge more and I can take more breaks, and it's not something, you know, I'll be doing all day straight. Like, you know, I can't be doing clients. I have to build in those breaks, and you know what I mean? But it's still very similar in that it's helping people when they're in a transition or they're just at this kind of crossroads. They're at this really pivotal point. And when I realized, oh, that can happen all throughout your life, not just when you're in high school or when you're in college, you know, people are learning and growing forever, and they need support all through life. And that's really one of the things I think that drew me to coaching from education. There, like you said, there's so many similarities about it. And it's really just like that helping and that energy exchange and holding space for someone when they're just going through something.
Oh yeah, girl. And I think I gave myself permission to like help the adults who are in turn with the children, right? So it's like, I'm going to get back to the kids. Like the kids are exhausting because I had just had a baby and I was like, I can't do kids all day long, you know? And so I was like, okay, let me work with the adults who all happen to be like soulful entrepreneurs, which was like even more special for me. And I was like, okay, Anna, this is how it comes full circle. You know, parents need love too.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the ones, you know, like we only get so many hours at school, like 7 hours with these guys, and then they go home and like, who knows what happens. But like, you know, the parents need a lot of support. We're just like big kids at the end of the day.
That's actually a really good point. I've never thought of it that way. That's such a good point. That's beautiful. I think that's beautiful. It really is. Yeah, it really is full circle. And I mean, even if, you know, some of your clients don't have kids yet, the work that you do with them is that beautiful foundation if and when they do, you know?
Yep. Yeah. So special, girl. So as a projector in business, like what has been something that has just been a game changer for you? Any particular tool or practice that you do that works really well for your lifestyle and energy?
I think the main one is, am I allowed to curse or no?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say not giving a fuck is like my main tool.
Oh my God, me too.
Like not giving a fuck about what other people are doing, like people in my space. Like I am super careful. It's not that I don't follow anyone who's doing similar stuff, But it's that I'm very selective about whose energy I'm intaking. And I have very strong boundaries with social media and with, just how much I'm intaking essentially. So even like podcasts and stuff, like there are podcasts that I love. There are people that I love, but like, I don't need to be scrolling all day or for hours. Right. So it's just like, how often are you just sitting on your phone, doom scrolling, or just like intaking other people's energy? Because as a projector, we're naturally more sensitive, and we need to be aware of, even if you don't feel like these things are affecting your field, they are. So just being really aware of like like the static, right? What is clouding up your frequency? What are some of these things? So, and then in terms of business, it's like not giving a fuck about what people say you need to give a fuck about, and just kind of figuring out what you care about and what brings you joy, and really letting go of all the rest. So for me, business has been a process of just stripping away. Okay, don't need to be consistent with my email list. Okay, don't need to be on stories every day. And there are people that really works for. And it's funny because it's not even about how often you're on social media, because some people, it's so aligned for them, and they're sharing things all the time, but like you can just feel how genuine it is. And then when someone's coming on and sharing stuff every day because they feel like, well, I have to share something today, you can feel that. So really the thing that's been the most important for me is focusing on my being, and focusing on my energy and my joy first, and not worrying about what do people say I should be doing for my business, or what are the traditional strategies, or, what are all the shoulds? I feel like, and I help clients with this too, and I see it so often, is like, I should be doing this. I should be doing this. I should be doing this. It's like,
I'm tired already. Just
right? So just releasing all that, and that is so much easier said than done. I get that. Like it's a process. It's not overnight, but really just releasing things that don't feel aligned. And then on the other side of that is trust that you will still have a business and things will still be moving. And if they're not moving, there's something there to look at, what's like, that's just coming up for a reason. So I think really just trusting that whatever is coming up and happening is happening exactly as it's supposed to.
Yes, girl. Yeah, it's interesting because like I love astrology, right? And so my midheaven and sun are right next to each other. So like, my business and career is me. Like we are 100% aligned, which I think makes my life so much easier, because it's like, hey, I'm not the type that likes a lot of routine, that likes a lot of requirements. I really like to keep it flowy. I have like much more yin than yang in my chart. So the deconditioning and the unplugging, like I remember watching like Tom Bilyeu, Gary Vee, who is a projector, and all these like kind of like macho men who were just like grind, like and I was just like, oh my God, like I'm stressed out just like listening to y'all.
Yes, and that's the sign that like tuning in, how is my energy feeling after I'm listening to this person? Am I like frantic, like am I stressed, am I like, do I feel grounded and calm? And this can go with any relationship that you have. And I'll also tell people that your resonance with certain people can change, because I do have a few clients who are like, oh man, I really resonated with this person before and now I don't, and having a hard time like letting go. And I'm like, that means it's time to just kind of like let go of that person for a bit, and maybe you'll find resonance with them again. But again, really just trusting your own energies around the people that you're listening to, or even the friendships that you have. And that's hard, right? Because if something is comfortable and then it doesn't feel in resonance there anymore, there's like this cognitive dissonance that's like, well, wait, I don't know, maybe I don't want to like leave this comforting thing or person behind, right? And there's definitely, it's a spiral. It's not a linear path. So sometimes for me too, there's moments where I like go back and I'm like, oh, but like, let me just be on Instagram all the time and maybe that'll, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, wait, no. So it's definitely not linear, but just tuning in and trusting, how you feel after you're interacting with certain things and certain people, especially related to business, because there's so much bullshit.
So much.
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes is Nikola Tesla, and he says, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And I was like, thank you. Like,
yes.
that's where it's
So
at, literally. At the end of the day, we are all like cells and atoms and molecules, and we're just out here like vibrating and
floating around.
That's it. At the end of the day. So like, I'm only going to hang out with vibrations that I like. I'm only going to do things that vibe at my speed. Right. And,
yes. Absolutely. And I think in a different, a distinction too is, cause this has been something I've been pondering, like, it's not that you just tune out anything that makes you uncomfortable or anything that triggers you, and you just ignore, and like, I'm only surrounding myself with everyone who's similar to me, because I think a level of when you're, when you are triggered and when something does come up that's uncomfortable, that is really good for us as well, not to just put the blinders on, but there's a different energetic between, okay, I don't resonate with this person. I just don't feel resonance. And then, ooh, this person is triggering me, or something's uncomfortable I need to look at. That's different. So it's not just like, oh, I'm just going to like ignore everyone that doesn't agree with me, or, because that's why we've gotten in such a mess in the first place, I think.
Right.
And that's a mess in itself, but those are different energetics there. And that's something I've been exploring a lot, because I'm like, okay, is this person triggering me? And is this something I need to look at? Or is this just really not resonant? And those are different energetics.
Totally. Yeah. Cause like, we're meant to evolve. We are on this journey, and, we're floating through space, and it's like, hey, things are going to come up. Things are going to bounce into your field. And it's like, okay, is this a lesson? Is this a sign? Or is this like proof that I have like completed that level? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. And exactly. I think it's so interesting. Like, you and I were talking right before we got on here about how like deep and intense the energies are right now. And when you are like super in tune and sensitive, it can be a little bit scary, because like the third eye is wide open, your body and all of your spider senses are turned up, and you can feel all these different things. And sometimes, it can be overwhelming. Like when you're so tuned into the channel, but it's like, hey, don't run from it. Like, I'd much rather be here than be doing the numbing or the avoiding whatever that I used to do.
Exactly. And I think, and that's why people do the numbing and the avoiding, right? Because it's too much. It's like, but I also think that there are ways to, it's a balance. It's always a moving thing, but I think there's definitely ways to, like, if you are feeling super sensitive and super open in a certain time, like you said, the cosmic energies, whatever's going on in your life, you're feeling maybe more open. Then that would be, again, a time to kind of self-reflect and go inside and be like, okay, maybe I like just get off social media for the day. Cause I do this all the time. Like, if I am just in a really vulnerable space where I'm like comparing myself and I'm struggling, I'm like, I need to just step away. Like, there are things that you can do to set those energetic boundaries when you're noticing you're super open, to kind of just go back into your center. Meditation's really beautiful too. Just breathing and being with yourself and coming back to your own energy, clearing your energy out. I actually just did this yesterday, because I'm like, whoa, I have all these people's energy on me. And I'm like, I don't feel like myself. I feel like, just like exactly like you said, I just felt like I was super open and letting all these other energies in. So I just sat and I, breathed and like just kind of cleared my energy, and I felt much better. So there are definitely, it's not like you just have to be like, oh my God, I'm so open and I just have to deal with it. There's absolutely things that you can do to help keep yourself grounded and keep yourself in your own energy as well. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. So good, girl. Oh my goodness. Okay. So the question that I ask everybody is, what is something that you have recently let go of?
Something I'm in the process of letting go of, but I do think I've let go of it this past year has been, there's a couple things that are coming up. One, the desire or the need to always be so busy.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a big one for me in my life. I'm actually, like you were saying, you have a lot more yin energy. I naturally have a lot more yang energy. And so it's been a process for me to get in touch with the yin and trust in that and like kind of merge them together. Right. And a big part of getting in touch with that has been releasing the need for like my schedule to be full. And then right along with that has been letting go of the need to clients, money, you know, all of this stuff to feel worthy. That's been a big journey I've been on in business, especially, but of course in business, in life. You know, what are the things that you need, that you feel like you need to feel worthy? What are the external things that you kind of subconsciously rely on? Because again, we're all programmed that way. It's okay. We're all programmed to rely on achievements and busyness as our worth. So for me, really letting go of that has been big. And it's a process. Of course, I'm not perfect enlightened being over here, but that's been, those two I think have been, and they're very related, but those have been big things I've been letting go of in the past year.
So good, girl. And it makes me think about the transition from 200 years of Earth astrology moving into
Aquarius.
Like we are done with, you know, the earthly obsession, right? Like think about what happened in the past 200 years, like the Industrial Revolution, like, you know, fast fashion, you know, factory farming, like all these like massive like machine, oh my gosh, industries that have just kind of like taken over. And it's like, okay, so we are closing that chapter. But I think a lot of people, like I'm a former professional organizer, are going to have trouble kind of leaving that earthly stuff behind. It's like, okay, actually we're moving into air, which is intellect, reasoning, logic, communication, and like what truly matters, like philosophy, you know, and like, it's going to be so exciting. And we're like literally right at the beginning of this brand new, like 200-year shift. And so I think it's just fascinating. And I think that's a big reason for the major energies right now. It's kind of like a deep purging of these like heavy things that we have been holding on to for so long.
Totally. And I'm someone that I have a lot of earth in my chart. So I think for me, it's like, it's not so much that we have to completely let go of all the earthly things, because we need money to survive, of course. And also you're allowed to want to have a lot of money. You're allowed to want to make money as an entrepreneur. Absolutely. It's not either or, but I think it's like you said, it's like just loosening the grip and allowing it to kind of come to you and not just like grabbing onto your things. And also, like you said, interacting with the earth in a more life-giving, sustainable way. Not because all the things you just mentioned, they're so unsustainable. You know, they're not going to be sustainable. And it's just exploiting. It's exploiting and taking and not giving back. So we need the earth, and we need money, and we need a house. And you know what I mean? Like we need a roof over our head to satisfy that survival need. But like we can interact with that as a people in a more life-giving and sustainable way. And I hope that's where we're going. Yeah,
100%, girl. Oh yes, the shift is happening, and it's just so wonderful. Yeah, so wonderful to be with like-minded folks. So Melina, this has been absolutely amazing. So will you share, how can we keep in touch with you?
Yes. So the best place is Instagram and my website, which you have right below there. So at Melina Charis and melinacharis.com. And then also I have a podcast called Own Your Magic, and that comes out every 2 weeks on Tuesday. So if anyone is interested in a new show, I would love it if you tune in, because that's one of my favorite places, probably my favorite place to share transmissions and teachings and just kind of what's coming through for me is my podcast.
Totally, girl. Beautiful. Yeah. Well, this has been fantastic. Any final thoughts on owning your magic?
I think we've covered everything. I just thank you everyone so much for listening. Thank you for, taking our frequencies and listening to our magic together. I love having these conversations. Thank you, Anna. It's so beautiful to just feel our frequencies feeding off of each other. And so I guess I'll just leave everyone with a big thank you and gratitude. And I would love to connect with you and just chat about anything. I'm here. So I always love connecting with new people.
Yes. Beautiful. Okay, everyone. So thank you, Melina, again for being here. If you are interested in listening to past episodes, check out my website, alignwithanna.com, and all of Melina's info will be in the show notes. So thank you for tuning in. This has been beautiful. Have a lovely day.
Bye.